Whoa, well. It must be Thursday night. Welcome to the Locker Room Podcast. I am your host, Mike Laurel, along with my co host, Joe Marks, and of course, producer extraordinaire, James Scorza. Hey, fellas, how are you?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm a little tired. Joey, how are you?
I'm good, but I'm getting annoyed by fair weather Eagles fans.
Yeah, I know. I hear you on that, Joe. I hear you on that.
Yeah, wasn't a good week for the Birds. We're gonna definitely get into that, and also look ahead. Big game for the Birds this weekend against those hated Dallas Cowboys. So we're definitely going to jump into that. But we had a basketball team that looked pretty damn good last night. Sixers coming back and beating the Washington Wizards. Joel Embiid again, another 50-point game. My God. And I wanted to trade, dude. Like, I ain't going to lie. You know, I was on that island. I still want to trade him. I still think they ain't going to get as much as, you know.
There's a stat that I heard last night that, if you ever wanted to trade him, that's like number one on the resume. 35-10. He has 75 games in his career with 35-10. That's just stupid. That's crazy. I mean, and what was it? It was something like 40-point game in the last 6 consecutive games he's played. He's the first player in history, something to that effect. I'm sure he's not the first player in history to score 40 points, but it was something to that effect. And the fact that he's just rewriting stats and record books and
Well, I guess the time off kind of did him good, you know.
Yeah.
Because he played 38 minutes last night. You know, average. He scored 50 points. He was 19 of 29 from the floor. 1 from 2 for 3 points. And his free throws, he was 11 of 13. So, I mean, he had a pretty good night. Maxey, again, another strong showing. He went 38 last night, dropping in 26. I love the assist, though, with Maxey with this one. 7 assists last night. Like, wow. And another thing, too, with Joel Embiid that I didn't bring up, how about the rebounds? 13 boards last night to go along with those 50 points. So a nice little double-double. And, of course, the return of one Kelly Oubre. Played about 20.
Good to see him back again.
Played 20 minutes last night, scored 12 points. Yep. The guy last night, though, for me, looking at this game was D'Anthony Melton. Yep. He had a really, really strong game. And I know a lot of Sixer fans were kind of getting on him a little bit. So it was good to see him.
He's a hot or cold guy. Like, he's a guy that can heat up and be like a microwave and kind of do his thing. He had a great second quarter. This is a guy that when he heats up, he can carry a team through a quarter or through a game. But when he's ice cold, he's just like it's almost like you almost wish Shake Milton was back on the team.
Right.
Yeah. Anthony checking in. What's up, Angry Ant? Thanks for checking in, buddy. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now with the Sixers. I mean, they're not that far away from the top slot. They've already played Boston 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all been competitive games.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure the one game, if they even have Embiid on the floor, they win that game. You know, so to me, I think the Sixers are right where they need to be. I think that they probably could maybe now get some trade pieces. Mitch, what's going on, buddy? He says Tobias Harris is terrible.
Been terrible.
Guys, don't forget to following us tonight on Edge of Philly Sports, Mitch Kofsky and Fly Like an Eagles podcast. His guest tonight, the one and only Big Al Safiri.
Nice.
Here's my thing about with some of the players in this roster right now. Last night was the first time that this starting lineup has been back together in a month.
Right.
And so against the Wizards, the very doldrum rebuilding Wizards, they looked like they were rusty. But I understand why. But when we talk about what Embiid is capable of doing, Maxey's capable of doing, what Melton is capable of doing, Tobias Harris once again might be
an asset.
He's an asset to trade, and I still feel that way.
Okay.
But I'm not of the opinion you need to trade him for a superstar.
Right.
I think you need to trade him for star depth.
Okay.
Like guys that are like ridiculous 6th or 7th guys.
Right.
I don't feel like you need to get like the Zach LaVine
Ye
or the big name.
Yeah, and to piggyback what you said, Joe, Anthony says that we need a bench, and I agree with that
Mm,
because I think that's most important to if you're going to go down the road and
yeah.
have a better opportunity.
Yeah, I think they're okay. Um,
I mean, I heard a little bit of thing about KJ Martin. I mean, I don't know much about him, but I heard it's like someone was talking about him. Did he play at all last night?
no, he was
No.
a coach's decision. He didn't play.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you also got to realize too, Daniel House is, he's didn't play last night.
Sure.
Springer too. Like I'm wondering what's going on with him because
Right.
they're not giving him much of looks. So to me, I just hope they can get it fixed out. But it seems like Nurse has got a really good pulse on this team.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's a difference. It's a world of difference to see now what the Sixers teams looks like when they have a coach like Nick Nurse instead of a guy like Doc Rivers, who just says, "I don't care how good you are, you're a rook. You're sitting the bench."
Right.
So, I mean, for me, going forward with the Sixers, God, I mean, they're, I know they have another game tomorrow night. If I believe right. Hold on.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
Hawks.
they're
They're
here.
playing the Hawks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah, they're home against
the
the Hawks. So I mean, that one there too, and also, was it Dre Bly, their point guard?
Oh, Troy Young.
Trey Young. I'm sorry. I don't know why I say Trey. Trey Bly was the defensive back. For Detroit.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna talk about that referee that screwed us a couple weeks ago.
No. Yeah, Trey Young. Like,
Troy Young. Yeah,
he's somebody that's on the move.
Yeah,
Like you can definitely see that they're going to try to get rid of him. Like they don't have nothing to offer down there. Like they're 9-11 now, so like they're near 500. But
that team has been breaking apart the last couple of years between Cam Reddish and Hunter and
Capella and somebody else. Too.
Collins.
Yeah,
John Collins.
Yeah, John Collins.
So I mean, you can take a look. Like the Sixers have options now, especially after the trade that they made for James Harden. Kind of opens up a lot of doors for them. So, I mean, with that being said,
but I'm still curious. I want to go back. So you still think that trading Embiid would be a good idea?
Oh, hell yeah! Because, dude, look at see. I play devil's advocate when it comes to Embiid, is because to me, I think we got as far as we're going to get with him. Like, I don't see Embiid winning a chip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I don't see him winning a chip. So if you're not going to win a chip with him, get rid of him now while you can get a boatload back. Like the Sixers can get such a major haul for him.
So maybe I'm being a pragmatist and I'm saying that I still believe that he could win a chip only because I've kind of done some research. There's 3 anomaly teams, but outside of those 3 anomaly teams in the last 25 years, teams that have won the championship more than not have only had 2 superstars and a lot of good supporting cast. You have a guy like Maxey, who's a superstar. Let's just put it where it is. He's a superstar.
Absolutely.
And then you have Joel Embiid, who is your MVP, so he's a superstar. If you have, and this is why I still feel like with Tobias Harris, if you're trading him for a bunch of quality, not like Nico Batum and Marcus Morris Sr., like quality guys that can really give you good minutes and good stats consistently, I feel like that's going to put this team over the top. And I feel like the 3 anomaly teams are the Warriors because they had 3 guys: Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Curry. You had the Miami Heat with Wade, Bosch, and James, and then you had the Celtics with Pierce, Allen, and Garnett. Outside of those 3 teams, everyone who's won a championship has done it with 2 superstars. So in the last 25 years. So my feeling is you let it run.
Well, no, didn't Milwaukee, when they won it, they had
Chris Middleton and Giannis. That was it.
And they also had
Drew Holiday. Yeah, I was going to say that.
They had they had Drew Holiday on
They didn't have
team.
Drew till later.
No, they had Drew Holiday.
No. I think
no, they had Drew. It was Drew Holiday. It was Holiday, Chris.
But Drew wasn't.
but
He wasn't a star.
oh yeah,
but
I beg to differ on that one. I mean, he
yeah,
got
I beg to
traded
differ on that
this
too.
year, and he got like star quality, like a return for him. So
The 2 stars, if you talk to anybody about that Bucks championship, would be Middleton and Giannis.
Giannis.
mm,
Those are the 2 that stand out.
Would you put I guess would you put like the LeBron era with the Heat? Would you put like anybody like a 6 man, like somebody like I don't know,
Yeah,
like somebody like that
there,
was like
there's a guy that contributed a lot, and,
yeah, I
that
mean
was I think it was
Udonis
James Jones or
James Jones,
yeah,
Udonis Haslam, Mike
yeah.
Dort, any of that.
Those guys, kind of contributed big time minutes and consistently.
Yeah,
My feeling is that Embiid, he's got the skill to get a championship.
he could.
Does he have?
he ain't got the drive. To me, I'm sorry, I don't see the drive with that dude. Hey, Linda, thank you for checking in.
I mean,
that's what kind of chaps my behind with this dude, because he just it doesn't matter what they put around him. Everything has changed with the Sixers except him. So if they get knocked out in the second round again this
Could be on
year,
Embiid again. I
like
do
I'm
agree with that.
sorry, like he's got to go.
Yeah, I do agree with that, Mike.
Like listen, it's process of elimination, Joe. If you start taking things away and adding different pieces, and you're still getting the same result,
yeah, but look at the pieces you keep moving out. You keep moving out ball dominant players that aren't getting him the ball.
Yeah, but the difference
well, no,
is,
you
I
can't
mean,
say that because ball.
Well, I can, because Ben Simmons was a ball dominant guard, and James Harden was a ball dominant guard. And both were his last 2 point guards.
Well, the only reason he was a point guard was because of a guy like Doc Rivers.
Right.
Who?
James Harden.
Not Harden. Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Ben Simmons was doing that because of his coach. His coach wanted him to be a 6'9".
Well,
between
because
Doc Rivers and what's the knucklehead that was before him?
Oh,
Brett Brown.
Brett Brown.
Yeah.
Both of them stuck it in that kid's head to be a point guard when that kid should have been a 4.
Regardless, in my opinion, Ben Simmons was not a star to begin with. Period. Second, the idea that when he was put in point guard, whether he was at the 4 or the 1, he was ball dominant. So it didn't help Embiid's case. Look at where the philosophy of things are now. You said it to start the show off. You like where Maxi's assist numbers are because you have a point guard now that knows how to create his own shot, but also knows how to get the big man the ball. I'm sorry. I know people are going to look at me like I have 18 heads and I'm delusional. But Maxi's showing me more than just 1 or 2 steps forward in his career and his progress.
Yeah, his progress has
I
been.
get that.
I'm going to give him a nickname, and people are going to look at me like too soon. And I don't care. It's my nickname for him. Max out Mamba.
Wow.
That's.
I would drop the last one.
No,
but
no, because who works harder in the offseason than him?
I understand that, but there's only one Mamba. There's only one Mamba, and that's Kobe.
It's not. No. I'm not saying he replaces Kobe. It's the Mamba mentality. It's how you go to work.
It's interesting.
I mean, okay, I see that point, but Insanio checking in saying, "What's up, Slutty watching from Mount Washington? Better than tonight's game." So I guess either you got a Bruins game you don't want to watch or something. Angry Ant checking in says, "Look at the Lakers, Kobe and Shaq.
Yep.
They also had shooters, people rebounding, just a bench. Look at the Bulls with Jordan and Pippen.
Yep.
They had a bunch of role players, and they knew they had a job.
Steve Kerr was one of them too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Parrish and Bird.
I'll tell you
Kevin
what.
McHale too, if you want to add Kevin McHale.
I'll tell you. I'll go one even further, really, with the bad boys, with Mahorn, Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars.
Yep.
And they had a pretty solid little bench too.
Yep.
So,
well, I'll go. Still staying in the Pistons, Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups,
and you also have Rasheed Wallace there too.
Yeah, that's a really good one. The Spurs with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's another one.
So, all right, guys. Well, right now we're going to go to a commercial because we got some bills to pay. So, we'll be right back after this, and we'll be diving into the Flyers.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
Oh, excuse me. Welcome back, guys. Had a little bit of a cough there. Excuse me. Well, now we're going to move on to the other winter sports team here that's been playing pretty good puck as of lately. They completed a home-and-home sweep of the Ice Pigeons. One last comment about the Sixers.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
One last comment. Angry Ant says the problem with the Sixers is the Sixers get the right pieces, but leave the BC there and
Because they're not used right.
Yeah.
Because they're not used right. Okay.
So, but how about this hockey team?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch actually.
I was in here on Saturday.
Right.
I did the post game. I did clear the ice, and watching that game from Pittsburgh, I was ecstatic, man, because the Flyers, when that building first opened, Flyers kind of had their way with the Penguins in that building,
Right.
and over the last 9 games there, Pittsburgh's owned us.
Yeah.
And they've beaten us. They've pretty much taken the the proverbial stick to our behinds and kind of whipped us good. So to see the Flyers go in there and play the game that they played, I thought Eriksson had a great game in goal.
I like that. Forster's been really good lately. I've been really impressed with him.
Well, they did the right thing. They kind of moved him. They moved him to the off wing now, where he can just shoot. And to me, I feel like it's been a very good transition for him. I'm also liking the play of Owen Tippett. I feel like Owen Tippett has been really charging the net.
Yeah.
There he is. Let's talk Flyers. I like stick.
Let me guess.
I like stick to the behinds, Mike. Pat.
Let me guess.
What?
Beer rule.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a beer and I got a
Beer
soda.
rule.
Yeah, Pat. No, we didn't hit the cobbler line yet. Jeez.
But here's my thing about some of the people that are kind of impressed me with the Flyers is that, I feel like the Penguins are on the way down. I feel like they're kind of just riding out the wave of the Malkin and Crosby era. But I've been liking Seidler for the
Sealer, yeah, Nick Sealer,
yeah. I've been liking him. I've been liking Tippett here and there, but I was really impressed with Eriksson.
Yeah,
I was really, really impressed because that's a kid that got shelled early on in the season, got absolutely obliterated. And I could tell that kind of set the tempo for Carter Hart in the following game. Is that if your backup's doing that good of a job, not that I think Carter Hart thinks his job's at stake, but you want to live up to the same momentum that your backup set.
Yeah,
against the same team.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. Because the thing I take out of this Flyers team is really been the biggest key I take out of it is that they're young, they're fast. It kind of reminds me of the old Laviolette days and all that. And Pat agrees with me too. Forster boys coming up clutch.
Yeah, but it's not just Forster. I mean,
There's a lot of
listen.
players
I
in
love
this
Pat to death, but I'm the one that turned Pat on to Tyson Forster. So if he tries to deny it, I got video proof of it.
I just like their whole concept of playing 60 minutes of complete hockey. It's incredible.
This team this year, like for just watching them, what I'm seeing from the Flyers is I'm seeing more fight from them they're not rolling over and letting teams run up the score on them.
It's turn away a system too. I think it might be too.
So I'm going to go back a little bit because they're talking about the fight in this team. There's a couple years ago or a year or two ago, you wouldn't have had this team get
I'm
to
not
the
even
overtime.
drinking, but I should probably have a beer by now.
Like they wouldn't have gotten into overtime. When we left here, this studio last week, they were playing, and we were in the car, and there was a 5-minute major for a really BS kind of play, BS call, and yet they took that team to overtime, being down 2-0. They lost inevitably in overtime, but stealing that point in NHL is important. And then with the second game in the Penguins series, they took them to overtime.
They took them both games into overtime. One was a shootout, one was in overtime, and it was both again Coots.
That's what
Coots
I gotta.
That's
where I gotta say. I remember years past when the Flyers go into overtime, you felt like they were going to lose.
I always felt like that with the shootout.
Yeah,
with the shootout, like overtime, I would watch.
But they've been doing well with the shootout, somewhat.
They have been, and I'll tell you what, Erisson, in that game, he was 7. He raised his markup from 7 to 7 of 7.
Right.
Okay, with stops. What impressed me about the game on Friday or Saturday was not only did the guy Gensel, who scored both goals, he started it for him. He shut the door on him. Then they bring out Crosby, who's this is his bread and butter right there.
Absolutely.
Stones him. And then the young kid,
was it
the young I wrote it in my article.
Yeah.
Pratt, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was like 5 of 6 with it, and he stones him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So to me, Eriksson has really kind of Pat got his start from the Village people. You ain't lying, Ant. You are not lying.
That he did.
But yeah, rolling back over into Monday's game, like you saw the intensity of it. Like before, I felt like the Penguins would come in and they would have their way with them. Like good teams would come in and have their way with the Flyers. That's not the case this year. The Flyers are putting up a fight. Like, listen, all right, yeah, they lost to the Devils in overtime. Mm-hmm. They still got a point out of it, and the Devils were a playoff team from a year ago.
Yeah.
So let's ask this question: what has changed? I'm not asking for a drastic change, but we noticed
the locker
change.
room. The locker room's changed.
I think the locker room has changed too.
Yeah, I feel like, and I like Kevin Hayes. I thought Kevin Hayes was a really good pickup for the Flyers at the time, but apparently there's some type of issue between him and Tortorella. Now, I didn't like the Tony D'Angelo thing. I thought he was a buffoon.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a wise ass than an actual player.
When we picked him up, me and James were both like, "Please explain this to me.
Yeah,
please, someone sit me down on the couch and explain this to me."
Yeah, and here's the bad thing: like, and here at Carolina, it's trades back for him. It's like so. To me, I look at it like this. I feel like there's a new. I feel like from the top, what you've been hearing Jonesy and Briere say that. This is a new attitude. We're getting back to Flyers hockey, and you're starting to see that a little bit. Flyers ain't scared to drop the gloves. Nick Delors
going at Hathaway, Delorier.
Yeah,
yep.
I love Hathaway.
I do too.
Love him, dude. I think he is awesome, man. That dude.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I really like to see how he forechecks the puck.
Listen, that kid on Saturday night had 6 block shots.
Yep.
Amazing.
6 block shots. And I even put that in my article, which, by the way, cheap plug, you can read on Edge of Philly.
Sure.
You can go, but when you, edgeofphilly.com, but when you go back and you watch the game, like he took one, and the last one he took off the ribs.
Yeah.
And he went to the bench and you could just see the pain in his face.
Well, let's be clear. For guys that played,
too, he didn't want to come out of the game either.
For guys that played hockey, the less amount of pads that you have on your body is your ribs. Like they're exposed. Unless you're wearing a flap jacket, which you're probably not, because it's going to impair your mobility. You're going to take a puck to the ribs and be bruised. And that's just the fact. The one thing it reminded me of with those block shots is kind of, you go back about 10 years ago, the Flyers in the defense that they had then.
Like Kingman and Pronger and all that.
Right. Where they would get down and they would start blocking shots. So that way it wouldn't, because a lot of those losses in that era were not necessarily because of straight on shots. They were because the
Block
person
shots.
deflected them,
Yeah.
like blocked them, and then the puck deflected. And how are you supposed to read it as a goalie?
And here's the thing too. You also got to tip your cap to Carter Hart. Carter Hart had
Absolutely.
a great game
Yeah.
Monday night. He had a nice bounce back game. I felt for him. And to me, listen, if they can go forward, man, with these two guys in the net playing as well as they have, and one thing, my only concern about the Flyers is they got to get the power play going. Their penalty kill is awesome. I love their penalty
they
kill.
had a shorthanded goal. Over the
that was
that power play has to be very
Monday night and on Saturday.
Yep.
Scotty Lawton's goal was a power play. But or I'm sorry, shorthanded. I mean, but I mean they got to get the power play going. Like to me, I feel like there's just too many wasted opportunities with them. They're doing a lot of that Flyers hockey, from back when Lindros was playing, where they try to do the deep cycle and everybody's got to have the perfect pass instead of
it's got to be a perfect shot. And it doesn't have to be. Just get the puck on net.
Right.
Anything can happen. It's weird because it's an odd analogy or comparison, but how like people say in baseball, just put bat on ball and just see what happens.
Right.
Like that's all you need to do.
Listen, the Penguins' first goal, Letang's goal, was basically it was an action, more or less, of throwing the puck at the net and see what happens.
Yeah.
It went off of Sanheim's stick and boom, it beat him. That's one thing I took from that game was, Eriksson was really strong in the net. Like, he really didn't give up bad goals at all. Like the one, I'm sorry, Gensel's first, I believe it was his first goal. To me, that looked like it was a kicking motion. But I knew I'm sitting right where you were, Jim, watching the game, and I'm going, that's in Pittsburgh, dude. They're not going to change that call.
No.
I'm like, that's going to be a goal. But to me, he didn't kick like bringing his feet up, but he definitely slid his foot.
But he slid his foot
in the crease, and
all it needs to be is a kicking motion. That's all it needs to be.
Kicking motion. That's what they always call it.
Right, but if you watched it, when he slowed it down, you could just see, like, he did a kicking motion. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, he kicked it in the net. So
that's like
but
like a homer call, basically.
Right. Now the second one he scored with 20 seconds left. That was a hell of a goal by Getzel. I got to get, but again, you really couldn't hold Eriksson responsible for that because again, you're standing there, and I'm sorry, but we got the wrong stall as usual because. Mark Stahl's got to be out there, and
I mean, he's been in there. He's been playing for so long. I guess it's only a matter.
I mean, his Monday night game was a little better,
but he's inconsistent though. I do.
Man, he's horrible. Like he's starting to give me like Justin Braun vibes. And if you ever heard my my rants about Justin Braun, I liked it. Believe it or not, I was a big, huge Justin Braun fan. Like back when he played with the Sharks. Yeah, he came here, dude. Like that dude looked like he was skating in cement. Yeah, and I'm like,
the guy that I would have rather have gone than Braun from the Sharks would have been Hurdle.
Thomas Hurdle or Kevin LeBanc. I like LeBanc, dude.
But
I'm a big fan.
What do you guys think about the Coyotes tonight?
I'll tell you what, they're a scrappy bunch, man.
Yeah, they were good.
I think they're a little bit better than people thought they were going to be this year. Again, they didn't open their stadium yet, right? They're still playing. They're still playing out. What was it?
They're playing at Tempe, still at the Moed Arena, I think.
Yeah, it's like the 5,000 seat arena or something like that. Yeah, like how is that team like? How are they able to even compete? Like,
for me, I think they should just basically just strip off and just go all the way to Quebec and become the Nordiques or something like that. Again, I'm just saying. They don't even have a fan base.
Listen, you know who I would.
The team I would want to bring back isn't the Nordiques. I would want to bring back the Whalers.
Same here.
Same here.
Same here. I would want to bring them back. But see, the problem is though, with that is that the Carolina Hurricanes actually own. Because they used to be the Whalers, and they actually wear jerseys. They wear Whalers jerseys like once a year.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Listen, no, they were doing it for a minute. They would go back
for retro, like for retro night.
They had they used it for like I'd say like 5 or 6 years. They would go back to Hartford and play one game, and they would wear Whalers jerseys for that night. But they stopped doing it because I think the Hartford Civic Arena was condemned or something.
Well,
so they don't have nowhere to play.
Well, I think Hartford has a hockey team in the minor leagues. I think it's the Wolfpack still.
Yeah, Hartford Wolfpack. but they play in a different building. But I would love to see the Quebec Nordiques come back. Want to know why? Because one of the biggest rivalries that you could ever see was Montreal and Quebec. You want to talk about bad blood?
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude.
Yep. And
now it's more like Montreal and Toronto, but it just feels
Montreal and Ottawa.
It just feels
Ottawa,
it just feels staged with Montreal and Toronto.
It
just feels forced.
It is, and the same like the Toronto's natural like hate rival in Canada is Ottawa.
Yeah,
I remember being in Ottawa, and there was a Toronto fan sitting there, and the guy just came to the game, and he kept chanting "Go Philly, go!" And I was like, dude, we don't chant that. I was like, why are you rooting for the Flyers anyway? He goes, oh man, I'm a Leafs fan. He goes, I can't stand these crabs. I was like, wow. I just died laughing. I was like, wow. But that's a place that's a bucket list place for me. It's like hockey. I definitely want to go to Toronto. I've never been there. So
I have.
I've been to Ottawa. Ottawa's cool as hell. Ottawa's like Philly. But cleaner, but the vibe. You know how New York is like, the epic center. Well, Canada, that's Toronto. Toronto's the epic center. Like they call Toronto Little New York.
Here's the thing. The last time I was in Toronto was for a hockey tournament when I was playing Pee Wee. So we're talking like 30 years ago. So it was an old stadium. It was in the winter, and it was literally 30 degrees below zero outside the bus.
Yeah, but you got to be careful though, because that 30 degrees below zero is really 0 degrees because they use Celsius up there. So
Celsius,
but here's the thing: is like these guys that you play against up there, or like the kids and the people that are raised up there. Hockey is just it. Cold is just it. It's like I know we use the adage ice water in the veins is for a different reason, but these people literally have the cold in their veins.
Yeah, listen, I kind of got a little notion of that when I was in Ottawa, when I was watching people. I'm talking business people skating on the Ottawa Canal, like going to work.
Gotcha.
Like I see, like that's got to be the way. Like you come out from breakfast and you look down on the canal, and there's a guy literally with a suit and tie on, with a pair of ice skates, just skating up the canal to go to work. And I was like, I just remember looking. I was just like, wow. I was like, this place is really different.
I want to see David Cherry on ice skates now.
You want to see David Cherry on ice skates? Good luck with that one, man. So how you guys see this game going tonight? You got a Flyers victory, or are they going to make it 3 in a row?
I think so. I think that they can keep the momentum going. And I think as long as this team can string some wins together, it's not going to be a pretty season, regardless, because they're still rebuilding. But it's going to be fun. At least this season seems more fun than last season.
I agree. Yeah. I see the same thing tonight. I think the Flyers can have a. I mean, Arizona's a very good team. There's a very good young team. I really do like how they play. I mean,
I'll tell you this. After this, they got a little bit like we're going to bring up the word gauntlet because that's going to deal into the Eagles here, which will be coming up basically after I'm done with this. Right. We're going to take a look back and a look forward, but these are the Flyers' next 5 games: at Arizona tonight, Saturday at Colorado. That looks like Tuesday at Nashville.
Oh, wow.
They come back home to play Washington.
Okay.
They're at home against Detroit.
Okay.
And then they have Detroit. That's on the 16th. And then the 19th, they finish at the New Jersey Devils. That's on a Tuesday. That Thursday, they're back home against Nashville. I'll just give it to you to the end of the month.
Yeah. I would take 3 wins out of that.
That's a hell of a gauntlet.
Yeah, I'd take 2 or 3 wins.
Anthony
out of
checks
that.
it and says he would.
I see a lot of people wearing Whalers. Gary Bettman tried to give Atlanta another chance after they failed 3 teams.
I don't know, man.
Listen, but Quebec's a different breed, man. Listen, you cross that border, it's a different breed up there, dude. Like they want a team back. The reason why they left in the first place was because the city wouldn't build them a brand new stadium.
Yep. Right.
That's why they left.
Right.
And Colorado said, come this way.
Yep.
But
after that, they won 2 Stanley Cups.
I mean, they were, and they're perennial. They've been
Sakic and
that's the other thing that people didn't.
They won 3 cups, dude.
No,
Three
no,
cups.
I'm saying like no, I'm just talking about 2 cups in the matter
A couple
of
years.
the couple years.
But
Oh, yeah.
what
I know
I'm
all three
getting at
altogether though.
is that Nordiques, you got to think that when they moved to Colorado, that was quick. Like when they moved to Colorado, that championship run was quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, well,
So
you can
Quebec
thank the
lost out.
you can thank the Flyers for that. The Flyers gave up half their draft picks and half everything else. So, all right. Well, listen, guys, we're going to pay our bills. We'll be back next. We're going to dissect that tremendous ass whooping on Sunday by the 49ers. So we'll be back after this.
All right, guys, if you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Go to phillysportstrips.com. They have self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights from the Philadelphia airport. Packages include direct flights, 4-night stays, all-inclusive tailgate parties, lower-level group tickets. Whatever you want, you got it with phillysportstrips.com. If you want to travel to an upcoming Phillies game, make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2023 season. Jump on it now, because you do not want to lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com.
Whew. Welcome back, man. Yo, this hour is flying by so far. Now we got to bring up. We were talking about the good. Now we got to bring up the bad. Eagles. I want to get your thoughts, Joe, on and James also on pretty much. I'm going to go last on this one, but I want to give you your say, Joe, about what your reaction was to that game on Sunday that everybody had to sit through and watch.
It was a bad game. I mean, it was terrible from start to finish. One of the biggest critiques that I have, and many people haven't brought up, and it's Sean Desai's game plan for playing more zone than man. I don't agree with it, and a lot of people, might ask, well, how do you know? Well, because if Debo Samuel is on, it gets put onto a linebacker. That's usually a sign that they're in zone.
Mhm.
And so that happened more times than it should have. And that if you're a defensive coordinator, you have to rectify that. You have to correct that, and you have to rectify that problem. Now, I got a lot of messages.
What's up,
from
Dibes? I'm sorry.
from those people that were Jalen Hurts haters, and they said, "We'll see. Told you he can't stand against a good defense." I said, "Excuse me." I'm like, everyone's allowed to have a bad game. Last time I checked, Brock Purdy had a couple of them. And last time I checked, Jalen Hurts is still one of the top quarterbacks in this league, without question. And I'm just of the opinion, like Merle Reese said, it's one loss. I think everyone that is showing their true color, fair weather fan true colors by going, oh God, like now we're not the best team in the NFL. I'm like, because of one game that they played and they were more ready for, and something was brought up before, with Buffalo and with Kansas City and now with the Niners. Each of those three teams had 10 games to prepare for us.
10 days.
Yeah. So you have to understand something. There is a part of this that's fatigue. I know people are like, but they get paid a lot of money. You strap up, buckle up, and get up like they do for Sundays like that. That's not easy.
Well, see, here's the thing. Julio says, gang, he must be a Niners fan. So, hey,
Who?
great guy Julio checking into the show. But, hey, thanks for checking in, Julio.
Thanks for checking in, pal.
I
Congratulations.
thought he was saying I was a 49ers fan.
No. James, what do you got to say on this?
Well, I agree to the extent what Joey was saying. I think it was more that I had the opportunity to hear about it during the week. So Jeff Saturday said basically it was like fatigueness. I think they were really tired after having 3 come from behind wins this week. The thing I take out of it is more probably the better standard of it is that, like Brandon Graham said, we had to have that game just to wake us up a little bit. And this week, I think they're going to come back with more fire. Then, I mean, it was not a good game. It was not, but those games are supposed to happen. I mean, it's ebb and flow of the season. I mean, everything's supposed to happen like at some point. I mean, nobody's going to be undefeated. I mean, but I just I don't understand how anybody out there is like really like pulling their hair out about how bad that game was. It's just only one game. I don't get it.
Well, I think the main reason is, and I'm going to give my points now. Debo Samuel talked a lot of trash all off season. And for me, and I love the national media because now I feel like the Eagles can just breathe now. They can go back and just play ball.
Right.
Because now they're not the top team. They did lose. They saw everybody in the nation saw them get their butts whooped. But you got to tip the cap to San Francisco. But you also have to, in tipping San Francisco, to me, I'm also going to give Brian Johnson some criticism here.
Okay.
When you had A.J. Brown doing slants and getting 8-9 yards per slant, you had Devontae Smith doing ends, getting 8-9 yards. They dropped to a too high safety. When you see them drop to a too high safety, you got to run the football. Okay? You don't have Dallas Goedert. Okay? So your middle of going in there, you don't have Dallas Goedert, and you don't have a third wide receiver. I'm sorry. Julio Jones, which, by the way, got released today.
He did?
Yes, he got released this morning.
Oh, my gosh.
So he's no longer an Eagle.
Wow.
Well, you know why they released him? Because that's making room for Zach Ertz. So I think Zach Ertz is coming. Also,
Really?
yes.
Wow.
And another thing that I'm looking at with this Eagles team is they didn't have there was nobody to throw the ball to in the middle. Quez Watkins is not a third down. I don't even know why they throw the ball to this dude.
I'm at the point now. I'm just really tired of him, honestly.
Dude, he reminds me of a younger Marcus Valdez-Scantling. He's got feet for hands. The dude can run a mile, but he can't catch the ball. He says, "I don't care what you do for a living. Crap gets old after a while."
And also, Dives, I agreed with your point you were saying there too.
But getting back, this is what I saw from this Eagles game. They got punched in the mouth, and I'm sorry. To me, it was kind of like, okay.
It is what it is.
And here's what it is. And they just kept getting punched, and they just didn't fight back. They came out like a house of fire.
Yeah.
They really did. They held them to -6 yards. They were up 6-0. But the problem is, when they got down inside that red zone, they could not punch the ball in the end zone.
And it's interesting because they're a top red zone offense in the league.
They were the top red zone offense, and the 49ers can't stop the run.
Yeah.
They cannot stop the run. I'm sorry, but if I am asking questions, I am asking about Rashad Penny. No offense, but you let Trey Sermon go to keep this dude on the team because he's going to be your big power back, and then you're down the goal line and you don't use him. I'm sorry. Does he have a picture of Sirianni with maybe a certain circus animal or something? Why is this guy not getting on the field? He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry
in his career.
And
his career's gone on a downswing.
I don't care if it's going on a downswing. You bring
that is the point.
No, you bring him in to use him.
That's the point. It's on a downswing. And you can't ignore that.
Yeah, you can. You can put him in and use him in certain situations.
And if he sucks, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, well, at least you tried.
It's better than leaving him on the bench and not knowing.
I think they know.
No, I
think they know because they see the lack of what he's able to give them in practice.
Ellis also got released too. The linebacker Ellis or his younger brother, because there's 2 Ellises on the team.
Oh no, Christian Ellis.
Christian Ellis, the linebacker.
The linebacker.
They released him.
Yeah, they released him when they brought in Shaq Leonard.
Oh, okay. So,
I mean, here's my thing: is as much as people can blame the offense, and they have a reason to. You make a great point about how the Eagles and how they were gelling with some of the short game. And then all of a sudden they started to change AJ and Devontae's routes to longer game. And I don't understand why they did that. But I go back to this Niners offense dropped 40 on you without sweating.
Well, no, that happens.
That's no. But I understand that happens. But that's why I would have to blame the defense.
But you can't just blame the defense. You also got to blame the offense. Because if the offense does their job,
Why? Because they didn't make it a score fest?
No, because they didn't run the ball. You run the ball.
When you're down 20, you don't run the ball.
That's the whole thing. You don't let them get up by 20.
They were always down by 10 at least.
Okay, I mean, being down by 10 and being down by 20 are two different things.
I understand that, but you're still not going to...
You got to run the ball, Joe. If you run the ball, you keep their offense off the field.
I understand running the ball, Mike.
Okay.
I do. But you want to run the ball with a guy who's, like, broken down.
No.
I want to run the ball with the guy that's fourth in the league in rushing.
Oh, no. I think you misquote me what I'm saying, dude. I said when they were down inside the goal line. When they went down those first two drives and got inside the 10-yard line.
You can still run it with Swift inside
You can,
there.
but you can also run it with Penny. Penny's a bigger back. A bigger back there with that offensive line. I'm sorry. He should be able to get his ass in the end zone.
Let me ask you.
That's what I'm not. This is what. Hold on a second, James. This is why I'm aggravated because they had a bigger back in Trey Sermon, again, who did the same exact thing that they had. And what did they do? They cut him. For what? For Rashad Penny just to sit there? This is the time of year, and that's the type of situation you use Penny for. I'm not talking about give Penny the ball 20 times a game. No, you're right. He's beyond that. Or he's got to work his way back to that. But to put him in and use him in goal line situations inside the red zone, he's perfect for that. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So you can do screen plays. This is the whole thing. Again, there wasn't enough creativity coming from this offense that didn't help out that defense. I'm sorry, that defense...
There wasn't enough aggressiveness on that defense at all.
Joe, you're not going to have aggressiveness. Not when they played 95 plays the week before.
Listen, I understand that part. But here's what I'm trying to get at. You can't just say, okay, we're going to give an excuse to this side of the ball, but not give an excuse to this side of the ball. It doesn't...
It marries it, Joe. Like, you got to look at it like that.
No,
it marries it.
I understand that.
If you run the football, the defense is off the field.
Mike, the defense had drives both for 85 yards and 90 yards.
Yeah, after making sure.
But that's the point. You shouldn't have long drives like that. That's not the offense's fault.
Yes, it is, because the offense went out 3. They went out 3 and they
didn't go 3 and out.
They went 3 and out after they went up 6-0. They went out 3 and out.
One time.
No, they went 3 and out, 3 and out.
No, they didn't do that, and they punted them in. They had first downs. They were driving. They just stalled.
Right, but
and they had some really crucial
because they
penalties.
stalled because our offensive coordinator decided to throw the damn ball.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with this, but we've gone down this rabbit hole many, many times. It's a passing league. You can be upset that it's not a 50-50 split, but it's a passing
Listen, I don't
league.
want a 50-50 split, but I'll take a damn 60-40. Run the damn ball. Like, that's it. You want to play. You want to keep your defense fresh. Run the damn ball and go mano a mano, because when you're running the ball, it's our offensive line, which is the best in the NFL.
So you're telling me the 7th play from scrimmage on the defense, your defense gets smoked?
No, I'm not blaming that. No,
that's what happened.
Oh, I know, and it was horrible tackling. It was horrible tackling.
If you're sitting here telling me it's fatigue, 7th play from scrimmage on the defense, and they're already showing their weather.
Yeah,
and that's not good enough, dude. It's just not.
Listen, I blame Desai on a lot of things. I'm not liking his soft ass defense. Like, this dude.
That's why I don't like
this dude. Came in here like he was a bull in a china closet, or a china cabinet, as they say. Well, how he was going to do it. And I'm sorry, he's running a worse version of last year's defense. And I didn't like last year's defense. They haven't had a real good coordinator really since probably Jim Johnson. And that's saying something. But guys, listen, this is us going back and forth. Now we get to kind of bond together and take our hate somewhere else, because now it's hate week 2. That's right. We're heading to the Star right after these messages.
All right, guys, let's talk about Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you got to call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610 610-565-0300. That's 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David Archeri fight for your right.
Alrighty, guys, we are back. We're going to kind of go through this big game Sunday night again in front of the nation. My question to you, gentlemen, is this: do the Eagles bounce back this week?
Yes.
Okay, James is saying yes. What about you, Joe?
They're going to Big D, and they're going to put down an ass whooping.
You really think you think they're going to beat the Dallas? You think they're going to beat Dallas like that?
I think you poke the bear.
Okay.
And I think the
agree.
Dallas Cowboys have the Niners to blame for it. They sometimes when you poke the bear, you roll over and you die. And then sometimes when you poke the bear, you let out the beast that you didn't want to let out. Now we know we got our asses kicked. Now we got to go down to Big D, and we're hearing all this stuff about them going 14-0 in the last 14 home games.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
they're playing really good. It says, look at Baltimore. They run the ball more than they throw it, and they're still being.
That's
Half
of them is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
No, it's not. No, no. Gus Edwards is a beast, dude. Gus Edwards is a beast.
You look at how many carries Lamar Jackson. He's got over 12 carries in the last 3 games.
Yeah, and Gus Edwards has got almost 1,000 yards rushing.
Right,
Gus
but-
Edwards is a beast, dude. Him and Hill, the kid Hill too. But that's for another one. So Joe, do you have a prediction for the game, like score prediction? I've been keeping track of them.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, and I thought after halftime last Sunday, I thought I was kind of on pace, but I wasn't. I'm gonna say the Eagles are gonna win 38-31.
38-31. James, what's yours?
Close game. It's going to be a close game until probably the end. I think it's going to be a Jake Elliott field goal, so I got to say around the same score as you, Joey. 34-31 Birds.
34-31 Birds. I don't have them getting out of their 20s, but I do like the Birds to bounce back this week. I just think overall, I think the Eagles are better than Dallas. I mean, I know the pundits and all the national media are all taking the Cowboys. Dak's having a great year. As much as we don't like the Cowboys, you got to tip your cap. That dude's having a good year. And to be honest with you, he's only been throwing to really 2 guys on that team. For the most part, it's been either CeeDee Lamb or Ferguson.
If he gets the MVP, it still doesn't mean that he's going to win a championship.
Yeah, Anthony says he was a 42 burger up for Anthony says.
Anthony says 42-14. I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, Dallas is a good team, man. I know you guys hate the Cowboys, but you got to tip your cap, man. Like these guys, they got a good defense. I like the matchup. One thing I saw this week was a very focused AJ Brown, and he looked ready, man. Like he looks like he wants to get out there. So, I mean, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup between him and what's his face? Him and Deron Bland. Steve checking in says we don't talk enough about how much we just missed TJ Edwards and Isaac Seumalo. They do miss those guys, but you knew Seumalo was going to walk, Steve. I mean,
TJ Edwards was good, but I guess.
Nah, TJ's having a Pro Bowl year, man, with the Bears this year. Like he's missed.
With the Cardinals.
I won. What's that?
No,
he's with the Bears.
Chicago.
He signed a 2-year.
You're thinking of Kazir White.
Kazir White's with the Cardinals. But
I thought TJ went with thing.
No, he went to the Bears.
Okay.
Dives checking in says Goddard's going to open up AJ Brown big time. I think who I think is going to have a really good game in this game. I think Devontae Smith's going to have a really good game. He's probably going to be going against Stephen Gilmore. And Gilmore's not had a good year this year. A lot of chirping coming out of Dallas, not happy with the way he played. Again, Deron Bland AJ matchup, AJ Brown matchup, that could be fun to watch. I also like Dallas' secondary, man. I really do. I love Cedric Wilson, Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson, the safety. That dude's a baller, man. Again, the Eagles line's got to protect. If they can go out there and protect and give Jalen time to throw the ball.
Well, let's be clear. Last week, it wasn't about him not.
Oh, no, it wasn't. That offensive line played their ass off last week. I'm not going to lie.
That was not the issue.
But the issue with me was they didn't allow them to get off. Like, listen, those first 2 drives, they were moving the ball in that 49ers off, or that 49ers defense, but they didn't continue to run the rock. If they continue to run that rock, I'm telling you, that game's totally different.
Here's my thing. It is.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. My final prediction before we get into this, Joe, I got the Birds winning 27-21.
Okay.
Who's going to be your star of the game?
Well, I got Jalen.
Yeah.
I feel like Jalen's coming out to prove something.
I think this is going to be Goddard's game to come out too, because after he's been injured so long.
I would see, Jim. I would agree with you on that, but you know what? They really haven't showcased Goddard like that. It's only been like when the fan base is called out, like, "Yo, where's he been?"
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they put him in there.
And coming off injury, it's
they're going to work him back in.
Yeah, I mean,
Edge of Philly says, I think Slay has a good game.
I don't know, but I was talking about this with a buddy of mine a couple of days ago. There's something about Slay, man. It's just like I don't know if he's at
the better years are behind him.
I think his better years are behind him.
Listen, he's not going to be an Eagle next year, regardless of what people think. I'll tell you what, but I like you know who I like in this game? I like Kevin Byard. I think Kevin Byard could help.
So the one person that I could see why I say Jalen Hurts is because all the talk that Dak's doing and all the talk that the national media is doing.
It's not Dak talking, but it's
the national Dak media has been talking. Dak has been talking to the Dallas media in press conferences that have been aired on ESPN. He has been talking. He hasn't been talking like directly, but he's been talking like openly about how good of a year he has and the MVP race and all that. Now, my feeling is this. After someone like Jalen Hurts, and we talked about this last week, Mike, after a guy like Jalen Hurts gets punched in the face, he's the kind of man that looks himself in the mirror and said, that's never going to happen again.
Dibe said, whispers, time to move on from Slay and Bradbury. I think they're right, though.
I mean, I'll keep Bradbury, but I don't think I'm going to keep Slay.
Well, listen, I mean, the Eagles got some nice little pieces at cornerback. I mean, they got Ricks. They also got Kelly Ringo. So, I mean,
by the way, where has Kelly Ringo been? And
special teams.
And but why isn't he on the defensive side of the field?
Because they wanted to do one more shot with Slay and Bradbury. Like Slay and Bradbury,
he could play the slot instead of.
He's too big, man. He's too tall. He's not quick enough.
What about Nolan Smith Jr.?
Yeah, no.
They've really picked him up. I think he's been to me a little bit more of a disappointment.
Yeah.
It says Slay hasn't practiced all week with a knee, so may not play Sunday. I think he's going to go. If he wasn't going to be out, they would have been.
Yeah, I think he's going to go too.
That's national TV. He's not trying to. This Eagles back needs 7 to be completely revamped. Oh yeah, the back 7. Yeah, I think so. But I'm interested to see what they get out of Shaq Leonard. I am because I feel like
to see what he has in store.
I'm waiting to see what he has because just because he didn't do well with Indy doesn't mean he's not going to come here and flourish. Like I always hated that narrative. Like when the guy leaves, oh well, since he ain't going there, that's it.
Well, 2 back injuries ain't nothing. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No, but he also needs time to heal. So, again, guys, we gave our predictions. So, hopefully these things come true. Now, for our final segment. So, because we got to get out of here because Mitchy Poo's got to come on and do his thing, as Pat would call him, Mitchy Poo. This is my 6-pack, or I should say our 6-pack of NFL games. Joey and James do their guys pick straight up. I do it with the point spreads. Let's see how we are. I will post what you guys were a week ago because I don't have my stuff in front of me, unfortunately. So, Joe, we're going to start with you, bud.
All right. So I got the Chiefs over the Bills.
Okay.
Dolphins over the Titans.
Okay.
Lions over the Bears.
Okay.
Packers over the Giants.
Okay.
Texans over the Jets.
Okay. And that's your 6-pack.
Yep.
All right. I'll have you send them over to me. James, what's yours, buddy?
I got the Ravens over the Rams.
Okay.
Texans over the Jets.
Okay.
Falcons over Tampa.
Okay.
Browns over Jags. Sorry, I don't know. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence plays this week, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah.
If he does. 49ers over Seattle. And I got the Dolphins over Tennessee.
Okay.
That Niners-Seattle game is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
sorry.
Definitely.
I don't think it's going to be. And
This is
I'm
going to be a
actually,
wake up call for
I'm
Seattle.
actually going to. That's my upset of the week. I'm taking Seattle with 10.5.
Ooh.
Nice.
Listen, they came across country. They put a thorough whooping on the Eagles, and that's a game that they've been looking to do. That's a game they've been chomping at the bits for the last.
They blew their load.
For better, for better, for better or worse. But that's my upset of the week. I'm going to take Seattle with the 10.5 points over the 49ers, even though the game's in San Francisco. They're not inclined to lose at home either. If you remember, the Bengals were pretty banged up and pretty bad and went out there and put a butt whooping on them. So, again, this is why if you're an Eagles fan, listen, butt whoopings happen at home, man.
Yep.
A banged up Cincinnati team went out there and just beat the hell out
We
of
just
the
talked
Niners.
about the Cowboys, and the Niners beat their ass too.
Well, but that was a road game. But we got.
But I mean, regardless, they beat their ass.
Right. So with that, so that's my my upset. I also have Atlanta minus 1.5. I also have the Buffalo Bills getting 1.5 at Arrowhead. I'm going with the Josh Allen. Nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. They were off a week ago. They're coming off a bye week. Kansas City's coming off that.
Man.
Kansas City's coming off that embarrassing loss at Green Bay. I am jumping all over the Buffalo Bills in this.
I am watching that game.
So am I.
I can just text you.
That's fine.
When Patrick Mahomes drops his third touchdown.
That's right. He can drop 3 touchdowns as long as Josh Allen drops 4. So I also agree with you guys, especially Jimmy with Houston. I think the Jets are done.
Yeah,
even though Aaron Rodgers has cleared the practice, did you hear this?
No.
Yeah, he has cleared the practice.
Seriously?
Yes.
But they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs. So he's not, but he's cleared the practice. Think about that. He just got hurt he got hurt 13 weeks ago. He's already back and healed and ready to. That's nuts.
That's some darkness crap I don't even know.
And, yes. And my last one is I am taking those. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals minus 1.5 in their game.
That's
the last but not least, I am going with those Detroit gnawing on the knees Lions minus 3.5 against the Bears.
Talk about a team that's lost the footing is the Bears. I mean that was a team that I thought could have been a dark horse, but
yeah, you know what though, that chemistry between the wide receiver that they got from Carolina, what the hell's his name?
Robinson?
No, not Robinson. The I can't remember the hell his name. No.
Yes. Before we go, Steven checks in and says the defense has to be better, has to have better reps this week, and having a brand new linebacker could do that, and especially something about with Roby and he said at this point Roby, Leonard Cunningham. That's 33% of your defense and 57%, of your back. 7.1 can't kill them yet, but. Yeah,
like I said, to me, we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna wait and see what type of team comes out. If they come out like they did a week ago, then they're in trouble. But like you got to see some type of urgency with them. Moore, that's right, DJ Moore. Thanks, Insanio. I've been drawing a blank. I thought that combination of Justin Fields and DJ Moore would be really good.
Well, that was Carolina's receiver, DJ Moore.
Right.
I thought you said Jacksonville.
No, I kept saying.
I was thinking of Calvin Ridley.
Oh.
Calvin Ridley. Yeah, he's having another great year. I probably did say it. Guys, I'm so tired. I want to apologize. So
here's my thing too. Like if you look at this Dallas Cowboys game, people have been saying the Eagles can't sweep Dallas in a season series. People also been saying that you can't back-to-back division winners hasn't happened in a long time.
Right.
Things are meant to change. Things are meant to be different. And the Eagles have every reason and every motivation to go into Dallas and change it.
Yeah, well, the 49ers made sure that they had motivation. So, I mean, in a way, I thought it was really ironic. I don't know if you guys searched social media a week ago, but there was a lot of Cowboy fans rooting for the Niners.
Oh, my God.
And I was cracking up. And I even said to this sweet girl, she's a Dallas fan, and I actually texted her on TikTok. And I said, if you're a Dallas fan, I was like, why would you be rooting for San Francisco? I said, knowing that they killed you. I said, So
That's like reverse
The
psychology.
enemy
looked
of
at-
my enemy is my friend.
well, this is what she said to me. She goes, "Oh, that's because we'll be tied for the division." And I was like, "No, you won't. You'll be a game behind." I was like, "And now you're going to get a pissed off Eagles team coming into Texas Stadium,
Huh?
or I'm sorry, the big Jerry's World." So I said, "You're going to get a mad Eagles team coming in there." I was like, and again, they said the Dallas game will have more points scored in 5 minutes than tonight's game. It's saying, yo, is your Bruins playing tonight or is it your Celtics, bro? Is that what you're talking about? Because he's talking about something else. But yeah, man, I do. I love the fact that both teams are good. It's never really fun when one team is really good and the other team isn't. I feel it brings out the best in both fan bases. I don't like the ones from up here. Some of the ones from up here can be kind of nasty, but people generally from Texas and Dallas area, usually generally good people. So
Yeah.
they don't even look at us as their rival. They still look at the Washington team as their rival. So I mean, hey,
Yeah.
but
that's fine.
guys, listen, it's been fun. We have another hour, so guys, make sure that you stay tuned in tonight. You will have was it Eagle Eye Fly Like an Eagle podcast with Mitch Kopsky, and of course, Big Al will be his guest tonight. You can see these beautiful gents that I have here with me. They will be right back here next Thursday. We'll be breaking it down, and also we're going to have a little surprise. We're going to talk about the 1989 Eagles.
That'll be excellent.
So we're going to talk about them next week, along with the Flyers. But we're also going to have somebody special stepping in, joining us here next week. So, I think James knows them pretty well. So, guys, for Joey Marks, James Scores, I'm Mike Lawyer. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys Sunday.
Go Birds!
Let's do it.